Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ross Benjamin, professional sports handicapper of rbwins.com. And the guy on the other side of me here, he's Chip Chirimbus, and originally from Las Vegas. Well, I shouldn't say originally. He's originally from Connecticut. Displaced from Las Vegas right now and staying and residing on Fort Lauderdale Beach in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Boy, oh boy, the rich get richer. The people have fun, have more fun, and the successful prosper. And you're certainly in that grade there, Chipper.
Well, the surf was wonderful today. The waves are up, and we were out there. We had a great day.
I'm glad to hear that. Always good for the neck up, you know, and you enjoy. I know you like going to the beach and all that kind of stuff. And hey, you know, I was in Florida for 8 years. It wasn't for me. But for a lot of people like yourself, you love it. And whatever makes you happy, I'm happy for you. So,
well, my eyes were popping out of my head at the beach. I'll tell you that. There's some great viewing down there. I'll tell you that much.
Just wear your sunglasses so you don't get look at anybody's wife the wrong way.
I know. I'm going like this.
Anyway, it is Thursday, February 18th, and we're taping a day before the Friday NBA games that we're going to cover. We're each going to give you a free pick, just like last week. And hopefully we hit them both. Last Saturday, we went 2-2, and last Friday we went 1-1. So we need to pick it up a bit, Chipper. And
well, we will.
Okay, so let's nail down some winners. Before we get to that, though, Chip.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting stuff has happened in the last week, or the last time since we spoke in the NBA. Your feelings or your thoughts on what's occurred since the last time we talked?
Well, Ross, what I'm seeing now is a game of horse. These guys are coming down and they're taking 3-point shots. They're not looking to develop and move the ball. And I've had 3 games in the last 3 days where I've had 24, 23, and 26-point leads and lost the games. I mean, we had Phoenix the other day. We had Miami last night. And it's just last night there was Philadelphia 76ers were up to a 23-point lead, 24-point lead, and they didn't get there. And my buddy down here, who's a big NBA player, he says, I want to be down 20 points at the half. He goes, rather than up 20 points at the half. And you know that doesn't make any sense.
No.
But what he's saying is working out in this league because these guys, no one's playing any defense. Teams are taking 38 3-point shots. Utah, now listen to this, Ross. Utah has 5 players. You're wondering why they won 20 out of 21 or 19 out of 20. 5 players that are shooting over 38% from beyond the arc. Yeah. No other team has 2 or more. 5 players on the Jazz are shooting over 38% from 3-point range.
And, you know, Chip, that didn't just start this season. They were number 1 in the NBA in 3-point makes a season ago. So, yeah, that's an interesting observation. And I'm going to pick up on this thing. By the way, last night I had Detroit plus 3.5. Up 20, 24, 25, I'm sorry, in the first half. They end up losing by 3. I barely get to cover at 3.5, and a lot of folks out there didn't get to cover. They got to push because it closed at 3. I was able to get down early on that game, and boy, oh boy, no lead is safe in the NBA. But having said that, Chip, you know, since the last time we talked, from the games beginning on Friday the 12th, which is a week ago from tomorrow, and the last 6 days, we've had 49 NBA games. 35 have gone over the total.
Yeah.
I don't recall a stretch like this in my recent memory anyway, where we've had, and you know, 49 games. That's a pretty good sample size over a 6-day period. It makes you stop and examine things a little more, why this is occurring. And even more so, Chipper, the bookies can't make these, the bookmakers, I should say, can't make these totals high enough. If those games, out of those 49 games, there was 13 of them that had a total of 230 or more, all 13 contests went over the total.
Russ, I have one client that's looking for a side and total in the same game. And you know how that annoys me because you have to root against yourself some of the time. And I gave Toronto, which is a winner outright over Milwaukee, and the under. And the under, I think, was 232, and they scored 233 in the game. So it's really tough to catch both ends. But these totals are running, and they're complaining to me about me giving them an under because the over is so obvious and everybody's winning with the overs.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. I did have the under in the Knicks game last night, which was an easy winner.
Right.
Again, if you notice, folks, those totals, when they get as low as they get this year, and by NBA standards right now, a low total is anything 210 or less. You'll see a big influx of unders in games with that low of a total. And the opposite end of the spectrum with the overs on the big totals, which are almost against conventional thinking. Anyway, I would say this, Chip, and you know from experience, when you see a cluster of overs or unders or favorites or underdogs covering, be prepared, buyer beware, because it's about to turn soon. And,
well, you know what, Ross? I don't know how anything can possibly turn for the Knicks. I mean, here they have the worst offense and the best defense.
I know.
And under's the only way to go with them. And very rarely are they going over the total. And this Thibodeau's done a great job with them, and he started with defense. Quickly was 1 for 12 last night in that game where they had a 10, 12-point lead, and they ended up getting beat by 15. So the swings in these NBA games are just incredible.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen more of that in the NBA than college basketball over the last few decades, but it's been even more apparent this year, and most especially over the last week. Again, it's somehow I'm able to, I was 2-1 in the NBA yesterday. I went 2-1 in the NBA the other day, but you're right, Chipper. It's been a tough call. And sometimes you just have to take a contrarian approach right now when you pick your game. So anyway, a free pick for Friday. Again, folks, we're taping on Thursday, the 18th. The games we're going to give you are on Friday, the 19th. So these lines that me and Chipper give you are subject to change. Chip, the line in the game you're going to use and the pick itself.
All right, last night, Wednesday, I used Atlanta and they were an outright winner over Boston because Boston was a meager 2-point favor against an Atlanta team that had lost like 5 of 6, or they've been really playing terrible. Yeah. And on Friday night, the game has opened with Boston 4.5. So I think they have an attitude that the Celtics are going to come to play Friday, gain a little measure of revenge over the Hawks. And, the Hawks have been terrible on the weekends. Don't ask me why, Ross. In their last 43 games, of course, they're going back to last year on Friday nights. They've covered only 14 out of 43.
Wow.
And on the other side, Boston's 6-2 after a loss. They're 7-3 as home favorites. And there's an anomaly in this game because Atlanta, we know they haven't been a great basketball team of late. They're 4-0 against the number in their last 4 in Boston. And that's kind of surprising to me. But I think the Celtics have been put on notice. They know what this team is about. They got beat by them Wednesday night. And I think the lines maker is well aware of this. Up in the line by 2.5 points to a team that they lost to. Right. I think I'd lay it here if I had a choice in this game. I think Boston is the play over the Atlanta Hawks.
I agree with you, Chip. That line stood out to me when I first looked at it today. I said, here's Boston. They just got knocked off by Atlanta, and the line went up 2.5 points. So,
right.
They're not that kind. They're not that gracious, folks. You got to read between the lines, for lack of a better phrase. And Chipper certainly has done so. He likes the Boston Celtics. And that current line right now, Chipper, do you have that?
I saw it open at 4.5, and I was taken back by it a little bit. I thought maybe a 3, but 4.5 is very strong. And to a team that they were only 2-point favorites with the night before, and they lost outright. So I'm gonna stick with Boston here. I think they're well coached. We know they've had a little problems with Tatum with the virus and things along those lines, but maybe they're getting healthy here. Yeah. They should.
Before I get to my pick,
right?
Tell the folks where they can find you, how you've been doing of late, and I know it's been a struggle in the NBA for you of late, but hey, it happens. I mean, you were also number 1 on NBA boards across the landscape for, for a few weeks there. So anyway, on a positive note, where can they find you and how you been doing?
Well, thank you, Ross. I'm at chipwins.com, and I post 3 games every day, unless it's a Saturday. Then I come up with my Fab Five in college basketball. Going 4-1 the last 3 Saturdays, Ross. I want to put people on notice there. But like you said, this week in the NBA, maybe it's because I've been in transit and I've been traveling and haven't quite got settled and gotten my footing yet. But I've struggled in the NBA this week. But I'm looking for a big turnaround starting on Friday, because I've already looked at the matchups, and there's a lot of great ones. Not only this Boston game, which I'm giving out here, but there's some other great matchups. Phoenix is going to New Orleans, and that's a really interesting play. And there's some other good ones as well.
Yeah, 10 games in all, as a matter of fact. So it's a full card of NBA on Friday. And speaking of Phoenix and New Orleans, right now, Phoenix is a 1.5-point road favorite in this contest.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I look at this kind of stuff. I had Phoenix as a free play the other night against the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn was playing without Kevin Durant, without Kyrie Irving, and James Harden just went off. And, shame on Phoenix. They were 6-0 straight up in ATS in the first 6 games of their homestand. It was the finale of their homestand. They get up 24 in the first half, and as Chipper alluded to, they blew the game. They were a 3.5, 4.5-point favorite to open. They went to 7 once Durant wasn't going to be available, or Kyrie Irving wasn't going to be available, and they lost the game outright. So it was a moot point. My point being going forward is, more times than not, when a team loses an insurmountable lead like that, or seemingly insurmountable lead like that, it's very difficult for them to bounce back immediately.
Yep.
And now they're going on the road as a favorite against a New Orleans team that's very talented and is going to continues to get better as the season moves along. I just think this is a great play right here for the home underdog New Orleans Pelicans. And I'm going to take the 1.5 points at home with New Orleans over the Phoenix Suns, which I think won't have their heads screwed on right, Chip. Me and you both know what that's all about, because when your head's not screwed on right, you get NBA losers like you have the last couple of days. And people don't realize in our business, we need to be focused. We need to be laser sharp. And when you're not, it's not an excuse. It's you miss things you ordinarily pick up on. You don't see things you ordinarily would see. And it's imperative. That's why I lock myself in the office, and it's almost like a do not disturb sign without putting a do not disturb sign up there. In any event, Chipper, I went 4-1-1 with my basketball picks last night, 2-0-1 in college basketball. Had a push there with Vanderbilt plus the 4 against Kentucky, who made 2 free throws with 2 seconds to go. But a push is better than a loss, especially if you're down 12 at the half. I also went 2-1 in the NBA. My only loser, I had the Minnesota Timberwolves plus 5.5. They lost by 6 in overtime. That really kills you, because once the game goes overtime and you got the underdog,
Ross, I say we win 1 out of 5 if we have the dog when the game goes in overtime. I mean,
it seems that way. Yeah, it certainly does. But any event, 4-1-1 last night. On a nice little roll with my basketball picks, 10-6 over the last 3 days. So you could find me, rbwins.com. That's rbwins.com. You could even call me direct, 781-571-0299. I accept all major credit cards. That's 781-571-0299. And you could find my buddy over there in South Florida with his flowered shirts on, and went from the shirt and tie look to the beach look. You can find him at chipwins.com. Until the next time, folks, for Ross Benjamin and Chip Chirimbus, we like to wish you each all the very best. Good luck and God bless.